The Justice Department will reopen the criminal investigation into Senator Koko Pimentel's alleged quarantine breach after the prosecutor receives a copy of incident reports from the Makati Medical Center. Pimentel began showing flu symptoms on March 14 and got tested for the coronavirus on March 20. But he still went to the Makati Med on March 25 with his wife Katrina, who was due to deliver a baby. Pimentel received his positive result on the same day while at the hospital. Makati Med called Pimentel's actions reckless. The DOJ on July 26 closed the preliminary investigation and submitted the case for resolution. Meanwhile, a total of 44,069 college students of state universities and colleges will not enroll for academic year 2020 to 2021 as the country deals with the COVID-19 pandemic. The estimate was made by the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, or PASOK. The Philippine economic team is also expecting jobs to pick up in 2021, but also admits that millions of Filipinos who slipped into poverty due to the coronavirus pandemic will remain poor next year. Acting Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Chua on Thursday, September 10, says unemployment will likely go down to between 6% and 8% in 2021. The figures are still much higher than the 5.3% unemployment rate before the pandemic. This means about 2 million people will likely remain poor next year. As of Thursday, there are 3,821 new cases, bringing the total to 248,947. In related news, a new study shows the headaches, confusion, and delirium experienced by some COVID-19 patients could be the result of the coronavirus directly invading the brain. The research led by Yale immunologist Akiko Iwasaki shows the virus is able to replicate inside the brain and its presence starves nearby brain cells of oxygen. The team found the SARS-CoV-2 virus is able to infect neurons or nerve cells and then hijack the neuron cell's machinery to make copies of itself. The research is still preliminary but offers some evidence to support a previously untested theory. The Justice Department says U.S. Marine Lance Corporal Joseph Scott Pemberton may be out of the Philippines in 1 to 2 days. In a radio interview Thursday, September 10, Justice Undersecretary Mark Perete says the Bureau of Corrections is aiming to finish the release process in just 2 days if all requirements are fulfilled. Bucor spokesperson Gabriel Chaclag confirms they received a copy of President Rodrigo Duterte's absolute pardon on Thursday morning. The pardon does not erase his criminal record. In 2014, Pemberton met transgender woman Jennifer Laude, then killed her after discovering she had male genitals. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque justifies Duterte's grant of absolute pardon, saying the president might have done it to secure a U.S. COVID-19 vaccine for the Philippines.
At sa tingin ko naman, itong decision niya kay Presidente, ito'y personal opinion ko dahil tinanong mo ang aking personal opinion, no? Ang pagbibigay ng pardon kay Pemberton ay kabahagi ng pagnanais ni Presidente na kapag meron ng vaccine na na-develop, kung sa Amerika man, ay makikinabang din ng Pilipinas.
Roque, the counsel for the Laude family on the case, even says he's at peace with Duterte's decision.
At sa akin po, bagamat tayo po ang tumayong abogado ng pamilyang Laude, kung ang ibig sabihin naman yan ay lahat ng Pilipino ay magkakaroon ng vaccine kung mga Amerikano makadevelop, wala po akong problema dyan.
The National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC, issues an order recalling the frequencies of network giant ABS-CBN. In a decision dated September 9, the NTC notes ABS-CBN no longer has a legislative franchise to continue operating its television and radio stations nationwide. The NTC also revokes all certificates of public convenience which had given ABS-CBN the authority to use the frequencies. The NTC decision covers ABS-CBN's frequencies nationwide, including radio stations DZMM and MOR. NTC Deputy Commissioner Edgardo Cabarlos earlier said ABS-CBN could still turn to the Court of Appeals. The network's franchise expired on May 4. Its free TV and radio stations went off air a day later. United States President Donald Trump admits he tried to downplay the seriousness of the COVID-19 threat at the start of the pandemic. In an interview with CNN on his upcoming book Rage, veteran U.S. journalist Bob Woodward got Trump on record on March 19, saying, "I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down because I don't want to create a panic." In another recorded interview on February 7, Trump tells Woodward the virus goes through the air despite repeatedly mocking people who wear masks. It was only in July when Trump was seen publicly wearing a mask. These revelations come barely 8 weeks before the November presidential election in the U.S. Opinion polls show around 2/3 of Americans disapprove of his handling of the virus. Trump denounces the book as, quote, another political hit job. A graphic claiming the global death count of COVID-19 is much lower than other diseases is false. The graphic comparing various diseases through a bar graph suggests the magnitude of the COVID-19 pandemic is exaggerated and only causes fake fear. It cites the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the World Health Organization, and medical journal The Lancet as its sources. The graphic uses outdated numbers from March 9, 2020 that do not reflect the situation when the graphic was shared on Facebook in August and September 2020. On Sunday, September 6, the WHO recorded a death toll of 5,446 worldwide, about 27 times the daily death toll of 205 as of March 9. The diseases compared to COVID-19 are tuberculosis, pneumonia, hepatitis B, and malaria. These diseases already have approved drugs and vaccines for treatment and prevention. As of Thursday, September 10, the global death toll from the coronavirus pandemic has topped 900,000, less than a year since the respiratory disease first appeared in China in late 2019.